Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Pam. I am the cosmetic formulator and soap maker behind all the things with Lather and Soul. Well, I haven't posted in a really long time, and I don't know if it was the last video I posted or the video before that where I said I was going to start posting more frequently and in a better schedule, and then I just kind of disappeared from YouTube. I've been uploading some shorts here and there, but that was also right around the time of the holiday season, and I was just being completely unrealistic, and there was no way I could find time to make videos and edit and upload. So here I am now in 2025. It's already February, but I want to take some time in this video to talk about my new custom packaging that I have for my soaps. But before we dive into that, let me show you sort of the evolution of my soap, essentially branding and packaging. So this was before my rebrand. Very homespun is doing the shrink wrap with the cigar bands, and then I moved into boxes, again make my own labels and using these craft boxes, kind of leaning into that whole like homemade, crafty, homespun vibe, which is very much like my vibe back then. I didn't really have a firm identity just yet on where I was envisioning my brand going. And then I kind of want to move away from the homespun vibe and really wanted to look more elevated, so I switched to these white boxes. These boxes were great for shipping and of course for going back and forth to markets, but I changed again. And this time I really wanted some kind of box solution that really showcased my soap designs that I worked really hard on creating for all these soaps. So I created this option, but it was really time consuming, it was tedious, and it just wasn't a very efficient use of my time. Now this didn't happen often, but on the off chance that I knocked over bar soap or a customer knocked over bar soap, sometimes that label would rip. And so now I couldn't sell that particular bar until I got home and changed out the label and the box. So that was a bit annoying. So I really wanted a better solution moving forward. Custom boxes were something that I wanted from business for probably a couple years, but I just wasn't ready to bite the bullet back then because it is essentially a big financial risk to invest in custom boxes. So last spring, I sat down and made my own little wish list of all the things that I wanted my custom box to have. For me, the most important thing was having some kind of design that would really showcase what the soap looks like ultimately. So what the swirl pattern may look like on the front of the soap, what the tops of the soaps will look like, especially since like 90% of the soaps that I sell have a crystal on top. I want that to be known when a customer or even a potential wholesale client picks up the box and is able to see that right away. I really wanted my soaps to have a wow factor, whether it was just the unboxing experience from a customer opening their order or a wholesale client putting it on their shelves in their store. Once I had my design finalized, then it was time to figure out which company I want to work with and who I could trust. This was probably the hardest part of the entire process. I really wanted to work with a company that was US based because I didn't want to have to wait several weeks for my boxes to be shipped to me, especially if it's going to be a situation where I'm going to have to reorder. I don't want to have to worry so far in advance, like, oh, I'm down to X many boxes, I better place an order because it's going to take 6 weeks or longer to get here. But that's where things got really tricky. And that's where I learned that a lot of these custom box places aren't actually in the United States, even though their information on their website says that they're in the United States. And even some of their like About Us sections even say that they're in the United States, but then they're not actually in the United States. One of the things that I was looking for was being able to order sample boxes, not necessarily with my designs on them, but just some other samples of some of the boxes that they've made for other clients, just to get a sense of durability. What does the packaging feel like? How is the print quality? Does it flake off? Does it chip or scratch off really easily? Those things are really important to me. One place I was able to get some sample boxes from were not US based because my sample boxes came from Dubai. They were also the cheapest quote that came in out of all of the companies that I looked at. Something I want to mention very quickly is that there is often a reason why companies overseas can charge you a much lower rate than a company that is based here in the US. And that is very much likely due to the fact that their employees are not being paid a fair wage, the working conditions are deplorable, and or they're utilizing child labor. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not to say that every company overseas is operating this way, but this is why I chose to go with the company that was based here in the United States. This was the most stressful part of this entire ordeal, was just finding the right company to order from, because I knew right from the jump that I was going to drop at a minimum of $1,000, definitely a lot more money than that, so I really wanted to make sure I was going with the right place. There is nothing more soul-crushing as a small business to know that you've dropped hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars in something, and then it's either not what you want or it's completely wrong. And I don't have the kind of capital where I can just be like, okay, just call that a loss and order from somewhere else. Like, that would be literally devastating for me. Obviously, I'm making this video, so I clearly have found a company to work with that I felt comfortable working with moving forward. And their customer service was by far the best customer service experience I could possibly have ever imagined. As you can see from the video, my soapbox has 2 different cutouts on there. So what was really important for the company that I chose, they wanted to make sure that these cutouts wouldn't negatively impact the structural integrity of my boxes. So they actually went to work like right away, doing a couple trial runs and making the boxes to my original specifications, which actually ended up not working. So they tweaked it for me so that I could still get everything that I was looking for. Now, I didn't know that I would be getting this, but they basically ran through once they got my approved design, printed everything out, and they sent me a couple samples of the boxes, which I thought I'd have to pay for. So I don't know if this is like normally what is done. So if you order through them and you had to pay, that's probably what they normally do. I don't know why I got free boxes, but I got free boxes. That's my disclaimer. So I was able to literally see and feel and try out the boxes ahead of time before they actually ran through and printed like the 1,000+ boxes that I wanted, and they were perfection. I mean, look at them. They're perfect, in my opinion. While I would have loved to have ordered custom soap boxes for all the soaps that I carry throughout the year, that was absolutely not in the budget. So instead, I ordered custom boxes for my 4 core line of soaps, and then a more simplified box where I would print my own label with the name of the soap. Something else I chose to do with my boxes was to not have the soap weights or the ingredients listed on the boxes. I print those myself. So last year, if you're not aware, the cost of cocoa butter skyrocketed to the point where it is just not feasible or possible for me to buy cocoa butter anymore for my soap making. So I actually removed it from my soap formula and I'm using mango butter instead. But should like this happen with another ingredient in the future, I wanted the ability to be able to customize my ingredient list if I had to make any sort of tweaks or swaps in the future. I also chose not to have the soap weights on there because I don't mind printing that at home. Just print on some clear labels and I put it on the box myself, as you can see here. And I chose to do it that way because sometimes when I cut the soaps, I have to accommodate the size of the crystal. So the soaps could vary, anywhere from like 0.2 to 0.4 ounces. So I'd rather just have the soap weight that's on the box actually be reflective of the soap weight that is inside the box. Because if all my boxes say 4.5 ounces, for example, but there's a soap in there that is actually 5 ounces, I don't want a customer to think that the next time they bought a bar of soap that they got a smaller bar because last time their bar was bigger, because last time their bar was a 5-ounce bar and not a 4.5-ounce bar. So I know it makes like a tiny bit of extra work on my end, but still, even doing it this way where I have to print my own ingredients sticker and my own weight sticker is still so much faster than the method that I was using before. I couldn't be happier with these, especially the little holographic details I chose to add on.